Attention passionate Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you've probably heard some whispers about a potential blockbuster trade that could shake up the NFC West. And honestly, it's got Seahawks fans buzzing. The rumor mill is swirling around Quentin Nelson, the Colts star guard, and whether he might be heading to Seattle. Yeah, I know it sounds wild, right? But if you look at the current state of the Colts and what Seattle could gain, it's a move that makes a ton of sense, especially when you consider the current needs of both teams and the big picture for Seattle's title aspirations. Let's break it down. The Colts, sitting at 4-9, are facing a tough reality. They're struggling on both sides of the ball, and their offensive line is taking a beating, allowing a staggering 38 sacks so far in 2025. That's a huge problem, especially when you consider the importance of protecting your quarterback and establishing a solid run game. Indianapolis is pondering a rebuild, and part of that includes moving on from some of their key veterans to free up cap space and draft capital. Among those on the trade block is Quentin Nelson, the dominant interior lineman who has been a fixture for the Colts since he was drafted. Nelson, who's widely regarded as one of the best guards in the league, could be a game-changer for the Seahawks if they manage to land him. Now, why would the Colts consider trading Nelson? Their cap situation is tight, with only about $9 million left to spend. They're also looking at a long-term rebuild, especially on defense, where they rank 27th in points allowed per game, allowing nearly 28 points per contest. Their defensive line has been hit hard by injuries, including multiple concussions, which has only worsened their depth issues. At 29, Nelson is entering the last year of his contract, with a $28 million extension on the table. A trade now could be a strategic move to get value before he potentially hits free agency. Plus, the Colts are already looking ahead, eyeing the draft and trying to rebuild from the trenches out. Their odds for winning the Super Bowl are around plus 12-0, so it's clear they're in a full rebuild mode. But let's talk about what Nelson could do for the Seahawks. Seattle's offensive line has been decent but inconsistent, currently ranked around 14th in PFF grades with a score of 72-0. Adding Nelson would immediately turn that unit into a true fortress. His presence would solidify the interior, drastically reducing sacks. Last season they allowed 32 sacks, but with Nelson, that number could drop to around 18. Imagine the impact on Geno Smith or whoever's under center next season. Not only would it give the Seahawks better protection, but it would also open up more room for Kenneth Walker to operate in the run game. Walker's explosive runs would get even more space, and this could translate into a significant boost for the offense, especially on those crucial third downs. Seattle's offense has been on fire lately, and adding a player like Nelson would take them from good to elite, making them even more of a Super Bowl contender. And speaking of the offense, look at the numbers. Nelson's grades in 2025 are outstanding, overall grade of 93.4, which ranks him second among offensive guards. He's a top-tier pass protector with a 91.8 grade and a run blocker at 94.6 among the best in the league. His career stats are equally impressive, over 110 games played with a PFF overall grade of 92.0, placing him in the top tier of guards nationally. He's been consistent, durable, and elite with only a few injuries like a rib issue in Week 7, which didn't slow him down much. Standing at 6'5", and weighing around 330 pounds, Nelson is a physical specimen, often compared to legendary players like Larry Allen. His ability to generate yards after contact has been phenomenal, over 850 yards YAC in running plays, and he's a pancake blocker machine with over 180 pancakes in his career. From the Colts' perspective, this move makes sense. They're desperate for cap space and need to rebuild their line and defense. Moving Nelson could free up around $21 million in cap room, which they could then reinvest in their rebuild efforts. The trade could also be motivated by their desire to start fresh, especially with their quarterback's development in mind, as they look to protect him better and build a more sustainable roster. While Nelson is only 29, he's still in his prime, and his presence could immediately impact their rebuild, although the Colts are definitely in a tough spot right now. For Seattle, this potential trade isn't just about patching a need, it's about making a statement. It signals that the Seahawks are serious about contending now, not just in the near future. With a strong interior offensive line, Darnold will have more time to operate, which could elevate the entire offense. Plus, the Seahawks are already having a stellar season, sitting at 10-3 and looking like serious contenders. Their offensive line, while decent, could use that extra push to be among the league's best, especially in the playoffs. Nelson's addition could make the Seahawks a more formidable team, especially when it comes to closing out tight games. The impact on the Seahawks' defense, or rather their overall team balance, could be huge. With Nelson anchoring the interior, the Seahawks' run defense could see improvements, and the pressure on the defensive backfield would decrease. That means more opportunities for their secondary to make plays, and it could help reduce the big plays allowed in recent weeks. Seattle's defense has been solid but not elite, and adding a player of Nelson's caliber could elevate their game to the next level, making them even tougher to beat come playoff time. Now, what about the playoff picture? The Seahawks are already looking like a serious threat, but a move like this would send shockwaves through the league. Bookmakers are already giving Seattle plus 800 odds to win the Super Bowl, which is pretty impressive considering where they started the season. If they can land Nelson and integrate him into their scheme, those odds could improve significantly, maybe even hitting plus 500. That's a huge boost, and it makes the Seahawks even more appealing as a dark horse contender. Plus, with the NFC being as competitive as it is, locking down a top seed and bolstering their front line could be the difference between a deep run and an early exit. In terms of the bigger picture, this trade would also send a message across the league. The Seahawks are all in. They're not content with just being good. They want to be great. They see the opportunity to build a powerhouse that can compete for multiple rings, and adding Nelson would be a cornerstone move for that vision. It's reminiscent of some of the greatest offensive lines in Seahawks history. Think of the legendary front that helped push them to Super Bowl victories. Nelson, with his elite grades and proven track record, could be that kind of pillar for their offensive line, helping them dominate in both the running and passing game. Looking ahead, the Seahawks have a lot to be optimistic about. Their roster is deep, and their coaching staff has shown they know how to maximize their talent. This potential trade could be a catalyst, giving them the interior presence they need to finally get over the hump and bring that elusive second Lombardi home. The team's recent performance has been impressive, and with a few strategic moves like acquiring a player of Nelson's caliber, they could become one of the most feared teams heading into the playoffs. In closing, folks, this isn't just about one player or one team. It's about the potential shift in power, the kind of move that could define a franchise's trajectory for years to come. The Seahawks are already in a prime position to compete, but with a move like this, they could cement themselves as true contenders, ready to take that final step and chase glory once again. It's an exciting time to be a Seahawks fan, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds. Will Seattle make the move? Only time will tell, but one thing, as for sure. The NFL world is watching, and so are we. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you believe the Seahawks should pull the trigger and go all in for Nelson? How do you see this affecting their chances of making a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seahawks news. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and big moves like this could be what separates the good from the great. Thanks for riding along with us, and as always, go Seahawks.